People were assuming it was going to be groups of 10. So people started forming teams and that became stressful. There was a chess master with us, so why not learn from him, make this productive?
Yeah.
That block game, that was really fun. None of us expected that to be so grand. In the end, we were able to get really close to the other team.
Yeah. Hey y'all, welcome to another episode of Behind the Beast, where you get to know the contestants on Beast Games Season 2, Strong vs. Smart.
Hi everyone, I'm Jackie. I'm player number 34 and I'm a civil engineer in Seattle.
Now, when somebody says that you're a light rail engineer in Seattle, do you think most people usually imagine like hard hats and construction sites, or more like blueprints and designing things? And what's the reality of what you actually do?
Whenever I say I'm a light rail engineer, everyone or people assume that I might be like running the light rail, or constructing it, laying tracks down. But in reality, I'm like a designer. So that's anything between designing the elevated guideway infrastructure, stations, and then making sure that people are able to get to the station. So that's like roadway improvements, other transportation mobility, like getting buses to the station, that kind of stuff. So yeah.
Do you feel like there's a certain aspect that you like more than others? Do you like actually working on the light rail itself, or kind of like getting people to the rail?
I think so. What's important to me about the light rail is like providing like an affordable transportation mode that's sustainable. It's really just to get people out of single occupancy vehicles. So for me, the stations are really fun for me because I really like the architectural aspect. But getting people to the station is also really important. I'm a biker, so that's just like having multimodal transportation is important to me, like linking that, making that connection.
So now in Beast Games, whenever you're introduced to a new challenge, do you kind of like have that same mindset as whenever you're designing things as an engineer? You have to kind of plan things ahead of time?
Yeah, for sure. I think whenever we got a challenge, I only did the block challenges. In the two challenges I did, they were both block related. I think that there was an advantage there because I'm a civil engineer. And I was assuming that it would be based on stability when building these things. But in my, like working as an engineer and during the block challenges, I try to strategize as much as I can with the time that we have after we're giving the rules. But I've mostly focused on efficiency during the first block challenge. I noticed that as an engineer, there's like iterations that you do whenever you're problem solving. And so every round I would try to be like, what can I do to be faster? The blocks were behind us originally. And so towards the end, like after a few rounds, I moved them closer, just like small things like that. Like instead of building one at a time, I started building like multiple blocks at a time, stacks of blocks at a time, just to get a faster time. And that came up in the last round, which was the death. What do you call it?
Sudden death.
Sudden death. Yeah, it was like the fastest 20-something people would progress. And I did that one so fast. I think I did it in like 13 seconds or something. And I was like...
So do you think that like other people, because they didn't plan ahead, that could have been their downfall?
I think so, yeah. Because like it wasn't sudden death for the other rounds. So you had time to be careful with each one. But there were some people that I was watching them after I finished, and I was really worried about them because I was like thinking... you have to move faster, you have to be more efficient in this round, So yeah.
Now, when building or maintaining rail infrastructure, have you ever felt like something happened in real life that felt like a Beast Games challenge, had some kind of pressure on it?
Yeah, so during the second block challenge, the one where we had to build that massive structure, I in my everyday work, we're always coordinating with a lot of different stakeholders, like the community. There's like some politics involved too. And we're just trying to make sure that what we're building, like meets everyone's priorities. And during that second block challenge, everyone had different ideas of how they wanted to, build this structure. And so I was actually walking around and just making sure that people felt heard, so I would walk around, and even though people were depending on me and Gary and like a few other people to come up with the design of what we were doing, I wanted to hear other people's perspectives. So I would just walk around and be like, do you guys see something that we're not seeing, like from a different angle? Like, we think of the way we're thinking of this, like building this is, one way, but I just wanted to make sure that I was seeing it from all angles, because there's just so much pressure during the game. Like, there's just so much pressure. And I just want to make sure that we're hitting it from every angle.
And I feel like, honestly, being a leader is not always about having the greatest ideas at all times. It's being able to recognize the great ideas from people in your community as well. So I think that's a really good strategy.
Yeah, exactly.
So now I feel in engineering, you often have to anticipate failure before it happens and stop those problems from happening. And in these games, you kind of had to do kind of the same thing. So did you kind of have like a reactive approach where you saw things happen and then you had to like figure it out, or proactive, you try to think ahead and figure out things before they did happen?
Yeah, so during the show, we know that a challenge is coming up. So a lot of us tried to, at least I want to anticipate what that game might be, like what the challenge might be. And there's just so many variations of what the game could be. So it didn't really work. So being proactive in that sense didn't work. You can't really, the games were so wild that we never were even close to what we thought it would be.
Everyone had so many theories.
Yeah, there were so many theories.
99% of them, no.
It made my head hurt. Like, we were thinking about it 24/7. So there was a point where teams were forming. People were assuming it was going to be groups of 10 when it was the top 100. And so people started forming teams, and that became stressful. And people were left out. People were being excluded. People were being included in a team, and then kind of getting like kicked out for another person. So in that sense, a lot of us were thinking, we don't know what the game will be. We don't actually even know if it's going to be 10. So we were just thinking, we just won't think about it right now. We're just not going to form a team. So we actually didn't really end up forming a team. And it made sense, because in the end, it was a free for all. We all
choose your own game.
Exactly. And none of those teams mattered. So I tried to just try to see what the challenge was. Try not to
go with the flow of it.
Yeah.
Jackie with a shot. Oh, it scores on the rebound. Jackie Mae looking great. Oh, fire it on, Jackie. Furious action in front of the net there. Jackie's perfectly centered, looking for a receiver. Oh, she's got another goal. Tip it off. Number 95 to whoever that is on the right side. Puts it home for the score. Nice job.
We were talking, you also mentioned a lot that you like to travel and also take on side quests. You even have an Instagram, Side Quest Jackie. So what are like some of your favorite destinations or adventures that you've been on?
I do really like to travel, and I love like staying active. So whenever I travel, I try to pair the two. Nice. I just came back last week from the Philippines.
Oh, cool.
We went on a surf trip, and it was really fun. I'm still a beginner at surfing, but I just really enjoy it. We don't really have, warm beaches here. So it's nice to be able to, go out and like just swim in a bathing suit and not have to wear a wetsuit like we do here.
Yeah.
So yeah, my favorite places are like New Zealand. I love nature type like trips.
Sure.
And just pairing it with an activity.
So now, as you mentioned in the last question, you love to stay active and participate in different activities. And we're going to see some of those activities like hockey and volleyball in this video. And you just mentioned you also started to do surfing, but what other things have you tried?
Yeah, so I also ski in the winter and then mountain bike in the summer.
Nice.
I just try to find activities that I can, like you said, I just want to stay active. So I'm always open to learning new things. Like I just learned hockey 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Skiing I learned when I moved to Seattle.
Wait, so you've only done hockey for 2 years?
Yeah, like
from the clips, she was good.
Thanks, I had to. Yeah, it was like my fiance knows that I'm competitive, and he said, "Oh, I think you'd really like hockey." But I was like, "But I don't ice skate," and he said, "Oh, there's like a class, they'll teach you how to do that." I mean, they kind of taught me how to do that, and they just throw you in after 6 weeks of like a 6-week course, they throw you in a league.
Sure.
And I didn't even know the rules of hockey. Nice. So when I got out there, I was thinking, I didn't know what offsides was. I didn't know where to, like, my position. They just told me my position, but I'm like, what does that mean? Because they really just taught us, this is how you skate, this is how you stop. Yeah. So anyway, I'm always open to learning new things.
So how do you go about actually like discovering different activities in the wild? Like I know like meetup.com is a popular thing. How do you go about?
Oh yeah, I think it's usually friends. Like friends will say, introduce me to something. My friends introduced me to mountain biking.
Nice.
I thought it was scary. I mean, I still think it's scary.
Sure.
I got a really gnarly, I told you about this during the fashion show that I had a gnarly scar from mountain biking.
Right, yeah.
So I am pretty beginner at everything, honestly, but I just enjoy it so much. But yeah, usually people tell me about it.
One thing that stood out to me whenever I met you in the city is that you wanted to partake in anything you could. You even came up to me, it was like, hey, do you know how to play chess? And I was like, a little bit. It was like, can you teach me? I was like, sure. So you did chess, you did board games, you participated in strong team activities that they had around the city. So what were some of your favorite moments in that stretch of the time?
Yeah, so in the city, we had so much time, and I just want to learn new things, experience new things. So it was really nice of you to play chess with me. Like there was a chess master with us. So I was thinking, well, why not learn from him, make this productive, the time that we have here. Someone else taught me how to solve one side of a Rubik's Cube. It was very frustrating.
Sure.
It was really hard, but so I could only do one side. And yeah, just went to the gym and did some worked out with some of the strong people. I think it's really funny. There's like a moment where Yvonne, she was working out and she was like, oh, do you want to work out with me? So she would set up some stuff for me to do. And I think she just thought it was, I don't know. It was hard for me. Like we were like, she was climbing this rope and she's like, oh, why you can go next. I'm like, no.
I don't know if I can.
Yeah, I was like, what do you mean go next? And I tried and I didn't get that far. And I think it was just like maybe eye-opening for her because she's probably surrounded
so
by
casual for
her.
her.
It was so easy for her. But yeah, it was fun.
No, but I do love that mindset because I feel like a lot of people sometimes they kind of just like are settled in the mediocrity of life, but like you seem to like want to go out and like just experience as much as you can. That was really cool.
And like I said, I'm a beginner at everything. So I mean, I just want to do stuff. I think it's fun, like just experiencing new things.
100%. As an engineer, in hindsight, do you think you would have changed your strategy looking back onto that life-size blocks game?
Yeah, so that block game, like that was really fun. None of us expected that to be so grand. And I think we did the best we could with what we had. I think where we could have changed our strategy was when we saw the blocks, we didn't really notice the arches. So we actually went for like anything square. We were thinking all the square pieces, anything that makes a square. So we were thinking get the two triangles that, come together. But the arches really helped the other team out because it was so big. And I think when we originally saw it, we thought it might have been elevated, like maybe it was on something.
Sure.
So we just really didn't pay attention to the arches. And I think that really helped develop a strong foundation for the other team's structure. And both of the teams, both of their structures fell. So
Multiple
there
times.
were, yeah, multiple times. So there were still other aspects to the game that you had to, fix. But in engineering, it's always about trial and error, like learning from the last iteration and doing another iteration, changing something. So in the end, I think both teams, even though our structures didn't have the arches, we were able to get really close to the other
100%.
team.
Yeah.
Like our structure was like very close in height to the other team.
I'll say the comeback that you guys had was
Yeah,
very amazing.
yeah, thanks.
Yeah, because I was standing there and I was like, oh, they're catching up. Because at first we were like, okay, maybe we didn't need to touch our tower, but I was like, okay, maybe now we need to rediscuss.
Yeah, like our structure was not very stable for the first two iterations, and then in the third one we started separating, building like kind of a beam, a simply supported beam. So separating those two triangles that I was talking about, instead of putting them together, we separated them and then put another structure or piece on top, and that made it way more stable. But it's really funny because our structure was just way tinier than the other teams,
Sure.
because we only had small pieces. But I think we did such a good job in learning from each round and coming up with what we did and getting really, really close. I think, like even the other team was nervous about our structure. So, yeah.
All right, now to finish things off, we're going to do some rapid fire questions.
Okay,
You ready?
yeah.
Let's do it. Blueprint or whiteboard sketch?
Blueprints. I don't really do whiteboard sketches.
Okay, nice. First place you'd fly if you had an unlimited travel voucher?
New Zealand.
Oh, back there?
Yeah,
Nice.
I love that place.
Cool, yeah. Metric or imperial? Pick your favorite.
Metric. It just makes more sense.
Fair enough, cool. And then what's more satisfying? Fixing something that's broken or improving something that works?
Okay, so for me, it's fixing something that's broken.
Okay.
It's just more sustainable. I
Sure.
think people are often just throwing things out, and I think we should just try to fix them before it ends up in the landfill.
I love that, cool. And then what was your favorite part about being in these games?
So in the girls' dorm, or the smart girls' dorm, we hung out there a lot, and it was just fun because there was AC. It was really hot outside.
True.
We would, and we just had, it just felt like summer camp.
Yeah. Love that. Well, again, thank you so much
Yeah,
for joining me
thanks
for
so
this
much,
interview.
Brandon.
And thank you for joining us for another episode of Behind the Beasts.
Bye.
Thank you for watching another episode of Behind the Beasts. It genuinely means the world to me. Now, for those who do not know, we are also doing a fundraiser across the entirety of the series for Major Connections. It is a foundation created by Gloria, one of the other contestants on the show, and its purpose is to provide resources as well as a sense of community for those with disabilities, both kids and adults, in rural communities. Now, oftentimes in major cities, they have the funds to be able to provide these resources, but smaller cities do not, and that is what Major Connections aims to solve. If you want to learn more about Major Connections, check out the link in the description. If you have the financial means to do so, please donate to the cause. And if you don't at this moment, that's okay. Please share it with your friends and family. But for now, thank you for taking the time to watch Behind the Beasts, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.